Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into something really fascinating. We're actually investigating the true drivers of cognitive decline. Think of it like a medical mystery, one that you actually have the power to solve. We usually just throw our hands up, right? We assume losing our memory is just this tragic, unavoidable part of getting older. But what if the evidence is pointing somewhere completely different? What if your brain isn't just randomly failing, but is actually responding to hidden culprits?
So is dementia actually a choice? Okay, I know that is a highly provocative question, but I'm asking it right out of the gate to challenge this whole assumption that cognitive decline is just a one-way street. Because decades of research and some really exciting newly published clinical trials are showing us that our daily choices, like what we eat, the medications we swallow, even hidden infections we completely ignore, are actively writing our brain's future.
And get this, here is the proof. In a recently published trial led by Dr. Dale Bredesen, an absolutely incredible 84% of patients with mild cognitive impairment and early dementia actually improved their cognitive scores. Let that sink in. They didn't just slow down the decline, they literally reversed it. This gives us massive, massive hope for our aging brains. It proves that when we actually identify the root causes of brain stress and remove them, the brain can heal.
So, here's our detective's notepad for today. First, we'll rethink the dementia myth. 2. The brain energy crisis. 3. 6 hidden root causes. 4. The danger in your medicine cabinet. And 5. We'll wrap up with the brain rescue protocol. Let's jump right in.
Part 1. Rethinking the dementia myth. To open our investigation, we really need to shift our mindset. We aren't passive victims of aging, we're active sleuths. And first, we have to clearly define the enemy here. See, dementia is just a symptom at the surface. It's kind of like the dying leaves on a tree. It just indicates global cognitive decline. Alzheimer's, on the other hand, is a specific disease down at the root. And yeah, while it's the leading cause of those dementia symptoms, it is absolutely not the only one. This is absolutely crucial because a lot of what we call dementia is actually made up of completely treatable masqueraders. For instance, an infectious disease like syphilis can invade the nervous system and cause profound cognitive changes years later. Things like chronic herpes infections, heavy metal toxicity from lead or mercury, or even just a simple B12 deficiency can perfectly mimic Alzheimer's. So we literally cannot assume this decline is permanent until we've ruled out these reversible culprits.
Section 2. The brain energy crisis.
Let's interrogate our first major suspect here, a brain that is literally starving for energy. Now, you might think, hey, I ate enough calories, or I switched to a high-fat keto diet, my brain has plenty of fuel. But here's the catch. The enzymatic machinery inside your mitochondria absolutely requires thiamine, which you probably know as vitamin B1, to convert both glucose and ketones into usable cellular energy, or ATP. Think of it exactly like the spark plug in an engine. Without thiamine, the engine just halts. Your neurons could be literally swimming in fuel, but without that spark plug, they are starving to death.
And how does that deficiency even happen? Well, our modern diet acts like a massive energy thief. Things like refined sugars, ultra-processed foods, alcohol, they provide a huge amount of empty calories. And to process those empty calories, your body actually has to drain its own thiamine reserves. Alcohol actually deserves a special shout-out here, because not only does it lack thiamine entirely, but it acts like a bouncer at a club, physically blocking your body's ability to absorb it. It's this chronic mismatch between high energy demand and low nutritional fuel that triggers brain fog, fatigue, and eventually severe cognitive decline.
Moving right along to Section 3, 6 hidden root causes.
So investigating suspect number 2, we have to look at Dr. Dale Bredesen's truly groundbreaking concept. He suggests Alzheimer's is actually a complex network insufficiency. Look, normally, your brain is in connection mode, right? Making new synapses, keeping memories, everything's great. But when it's faced with chronic insults, a molecular switch flips. Your brain immediately enters protection mode. It just stops building memories and redirects all its resources to fighting off threats, ultimately downsizing the brain just to survive. For decades, the medical field viewed amyloid beta plaques as the original enemy. But guess what? They aren't. They're actually a protective militia. They're an antimicrobial peptide responding to insults.
So what exactly are these insults that trigger this protective militia? Well, there are 6 distinct intruders. Number 1 is inflammatory. This comes from things like a leaky gut, poor oral health, or unrecognized tick-borne illnesses. 2 is atrophic, meaning a lack of trophic support, like low estrogen, low testosterone, or vitamin D. 3 is glycotoxic. This is driven by severe insulin resistance and eating way too many simple carbs. 4 is toxic. We're talking exposure to mold mycotoxins, heavy metals, or even microplastics. 5 is vascular, just poor cerebral blood flow. And 6 is traumatic, a history of head injuries. You see, Alzheimer's is not a one-size-fits-all disease. It's really a personalized fingerprint made up of these 6 causes.
All right, on to Section 4, danger in your medicine cabinet.
Now we uncover what I think is our most shocking suspect, an inside job orchestrated by the very pill sitting right there in your bathroom cabinet. These are literally some of the most widely prescribed drugs in the entire world, and they are silently accelerating cognitive decline. Medications like Benadryl and oxybutynin, they are highly anticholinergic. That means they systematically destroy acetylcholine, which is the exact chemical messenger your brain relies on to form new memories. Then you have proton pump inhibitors like Prilosec, which aggressively blocks stomach acid, stopping you from absorbing B12, which your brain desperately needs. Meanwhile, benzodiazepines like Xanax chemically sedate your neural activity, totally stopping your brain from learning new information. And the numbers on this are just staggering. Frighteningly, the regular use of over-the-counter sleep aids containing diphenhydramine or older antidepressants like amitriptyline actually increases your risk of developing dementia by 54%. Just think about the irony there. People are taking a simple pink pill just to get some rest, completely unaware that it is actively disrupting their hippocampus and raising their dementia risk by more than half. Crazy, right?
And sadly, the danger compounds exponentially. If you mix multiple anticholinergic drugs together, say you take Benadryl for sleep, maybe oxybutynin for bladder control, and amitriptyline for nerve pain, this is an incredibly common scenario known as polypharmacy. When you do this, that risk absolutely skyrockets to a 120% increased chance of dementia. No joke. You're basically blocking acetylcholine from multiple angles all at once, which causes your neurons to physically wither away from chronic underuse.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 5, the Brain Rescue Protocol.
Don't worry, we aren't going to leave you empty-handed. Now that we've identified the culprits, here is your nutritional defense strategy. We've mapped out the absolute best whole foods to the specific micronutrients that your neurons are practically begging for. First up, nutritional yeast. It quietly supplies massive amounts of thiamine and choline to fuel your energy and build those vital neurotransmitters. Then there's wheat germ, which provides spermidine to act as the brain's cellular trash man, sweeping away debris. Walnuts give you plant-based omega-3s. Mushrooms, they are incredibly rich in ergothioneine, which is an antioxidant that acts like a literal cellular shield for your mitochondria. And of course, blueberries. They offer anthocyanins that actually cross the blood-brain barrier to protect your memory centers from oxidative damage.
And here is your step-by-step action plan so you can become the detective of your own cognitive longevity. Step 1. Please don't stick your head in the sand. Get comprehensive blood work done. Test for p-tau 2017, which is a key biomarker for early Alzheimer's. Check your ApoE4 genetic status to see if you carry the highest risk Alzheimer's gene. And definitely screen for heavy metals and mold. Step 2. Work with your doctor to review all of your medications. Safely deprescribe anything with a high anticholinergic load. Step 3. Adopt Dr. Bredeson's Keto Flex 12/3 diet. It's a plant-rich, mildly ketogenic lifestyle, and try to fast for 12 to 16 hours every night just to give your brain that crucial time to clear out the trash.
So the most crucial point of this entire explainer is summarized perfectly right here. Dementia is not an inevitable consequence of aging. It is a complex and often entirely reversible symptom of an energy and toxicity crisis. We really have to stop viewing our brains as mysteriously breaking down over time and start seeing them as miraculously responding to exactly what we feed them, what we expose them to, and what we ask them to process.
As we wrap up our investigation today, I want to leave you with this one final thought. If you knew your brain was starving for nutrients or slowly being poisoned by the everyday pills sitting right there on your nightstand, what is the very first thing you would change tonight? You have the power to change your brain's trajectory right now. Thank you so much for joining me for this explanation, and as always, stay curious.